Lately, I've been noticing a lot of players are announcing themselves as more casual. But last week we had a conversation on my stream about like what is a casual player, and funnily enough, if you were to ask anybody in the community what a casual player actually is, everyone has a different definition. Now, if I were to go along this and kind of think about some of the things that I would describe as a casual player, then I'm thinking of somebody that doesn't really care about the meta, or rather, it's not that they don't care about the meta, but it's not as important to them, right? They don't care about clearing. They don't really care about learning any of the tech that we like to put out, any of the combos. They might learn one or two depending on how easy it is, but for the most part, they want to get on the game. They want to see cool, flashy stuff, and then they want to successfully do whatever it is that they tried to do, right? And if they don't do it, cool. They move on to the next thing. They go to the story of the event, whatever the case may be inside of a gacha game. And right now, there seems to be a big mixture of what is a casual player, right? Or what is a casual, what's an average player, what's a pro player, which, I mean, there is really not a pro player, but you guys get what I'm saying, right? Top player. Anyway, in today's video, I decided to break down what I would consider the most casual characters that somebody who wants to be a casual player could benefit from in Zenless Zone Zero. And to give credit where credit is due, I saw this video idea from Jello. Jello put something out like this for Genshin Impact, if I'm not mistaken. And I was like, that's pretty interesting. I never really thought about it that way, but I mean, it is what it is. So now, of course, I've got my own list here for what I would deem as the more casual characters. And I'll try and go over like why they're casual for the most part. But again, remember, this is casual. So I'm not speaking on what makes them the best character in the entire game, or why if you master their techniques or their advanced combat skills, you'll be the best casual player. Like, we're not doing all that, okay? The casual player wants what I would consider probably three things. Really not probably, but it's really up to, you know, viewer discretion. I would say the casual player is looking for three things. One, is this character fun? Are they very easy to play? Not a lot goes into the character, very simple to understand. Pick up and play is a term that you'll hear me use a lot on the video and in my stream. The second thing is whether or not this character is naturally powerful. Now, being powerful does not mean that they're OP. It doesn't mean they're top 5, top 3, anything like that. It just means that they're able to get the job done. Whatever it is they're trying to do, they're going to be able to successfully get that job done. And third, specifically for gacha games, does this character fall off in the meta fast or slow? And what I mean by that is a lot of people are complaining about the new Shiyu defense right now. I haven't done it yet, so I actually can't get there, but let's just run over here to Deadly Assault real quick and I'll show you guys what I mean, right? If we're coming over here into Deadly Assault, you see that I have Alice, you see that I have Yixuan, and then Yexun Wang. But if I were to replace Alice with a character like Piper, then the question becomes like, okay, well, what if I don't have Alice? What if I don't have Trigger? What if I don't have Yuzuha? Then like, are these characters still going to be relevant? If I'm playing Piper or Nekomata, is she still going to be relevant? Yada, 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 right? So with the third or the three criteria things out of the way, let's go ahead and break down some of the characters that I have. Now, I don't really think I have an ordered list, but I do have a top 5. So I'll just go in reverse, right? Because it's easier that way. The first thing that we're going to run through here is going to be, where's my boy? Where's my boy? Am I blind? I have to be blind, dog. I'm blind. I'm blind. There he is. He's got silver hair. Silver instead of the red, right? So anyway, first up on the list is going to be Minato. Some of you guys might be thinking to yourself, why Minato? Minato has to learn tech. No, he does not, okay? Minato is one of the baby's first mash type of characters that I like to explain, right? This type of character, or himself, is literally, I care about parries and then mashing my button, right? Mash basic attack for as much as I need to. Whenever I get this parry right here, boom, I get a parry, I turn around and then I start mashing my basic attack, okay? Which is like, it's a different part of his skill, whatever, all that kind of stuff. Again, casual. I don't really have to explain too much for you to understand how to play this character. Now, of course, because it's a gacha game, or an RPG, there are certain things to a character that at some point you will want to learn. You will want to learn why you're doing his special attack, how you're holding it, when you're going to activate certain things. But in order for me to get you from on the ground running, right? On the ground running from point A to point B, I don't have to explain all the difficult or the technicalities to this character, Minato in particular, for you to understand what's going on. Literally, gameplay on the screen as we're talking about it, you just have to mash. That's it. I feel like it's pretty cut and dry. And if you'll notice, as I go through the list, the characters have to press less buttons to execute their game plan. So Minato, basic attack, skill, parry, he has a couple buttons, right? I really don't think anyone on this list has more than 3 or 4 buttons that they would have to press to get the job they want to do. The next character though is going to be Alice. All right, so contrary to popular belief, Alice is a very simple and powerful character to understand. Baby Miyabi, if you will, right? The reason why I wouldn't say Miyabi is the next character that I would have on my list is because, yeah, sure, you can play Miyabi on a pretty much like baby understanding of the game. But in order for you to actually play Miyabi and know what you're doing, especially in today's meta, you have to understand how her anomaly works because she doesn't have regular ice. She has the Frostfire, which works differently than ice, like same concept, right? Conceptually, it's still the same, but there are little things about anomaly and a lot of anomaly as a basic level you have to understand in order to maximize or get the value out of Miyabi. Then you get into team building, whatever. Alice is a little different. Alice is the type of character where she's going to be able to essentially do the same thing as Miyabi, right? Hold basic attack, do whatever I want, boom, and then get my damage out. But the rest of her kit is just mashing. Another cool thing about Alice that you really don't have to worry about depending on anomaly timers, ICD, you don't have to worry about the internal cooldown. You can kind of just get away with whatever you want because her kit works off of itself. She disorders off of herself, and anything else that's around there, eventually you'll just work out the timer. It's fine. In order for me to explain how to play Alice, you literally just basic attack, fill up the yellow bar, hold one button, and then you're done. That's it. She's an extremely casual character. She's really fun to play, especially with the fact that she works with all the anomaly teams or all the anomaly agents on the team. And you're also going to be able to essentially have a long lasting character within the meta. I don't see Alice falling off at all, pretty much for the remainder of the year. I want to say all of season 3. But I don't know. They could pull a anti-Alice campaign if they wanted to, for all I know. The next character on my list is Mamas. All right, Ye Shunguang. She is extremely casual. You guys know how I feel about this character. This is quite literally one of, if not the easiest characters to play in the game. You just mash. That's it. I'm not gonna think too hard on it. You mash. Okay. The most difficult thing you have to learn with this character is how do you dance in and out of your Ultra Instinct. And to be fair, that is more team dependent than it is solo Ye Shunguang. You should never really be playing solo Ye Shunguang, but in the event you do, you're going to be using a lot of EX skills and a lot of empty regular skills. I call empties, or I call a skill an empty skill when it doesn't require energy, right? It's empty. It's raw. You just let it out. Okay. You're going to be doing a lot of that, a lot of dodge counters in order to build up her Ultra Instinct, her little meters, and then you just mash. That's it. Okay. There's nothing too crazy. Is this character gonna fall off? No. My bad. Fork, no. Never gonna fall off, okay? Or not never, but for the foreseeable future, no, she's not falling off. And then on top of that, she's extremely fun to play for the casual player because flash, 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 a lot of cool white shimmery diamond thingies, and then blow up the entire board, right? Cool. After that, we have one of my personal favorites being Yidhari. I love this character, okay? She's super fun. I'm a huge Monster Hunter fan, which is funnily enough, I'm not a hammer main, but I love bonking things on the head and getting the days, right? They get stunned, the little stars appear around them. It's super cool. I wish that was an effect in this game. But anyway, Yidhari is going to be the next character on my list for like the most casual character in the game. Yidhari is absolutely fantastic. You really only need to know 2 buttons, maybe 3, being dodge. But I mean, dodge, I wouldn't count as a button per se, but it's really just 2 buttons. It's basic attack, hold the basic attack, which is still basic attack, and then special whenever you need to do it, right? There is some technical or tech things to her kit that make her better. But in terms of just on paper, how do you play Yidhari? Bonk something on the head, spin the win, do another bonk, right? Do her little overhead flip, and you go from there. There are, of course, a lot of different things that I could break down about Yidhari, such as managing her HP and how to drain and recover HP so that you build up decibels insanely fast compared to a lot of the other DPS characters in the game. Or how do you work her with some of the other characters like Ether Veil users or stunners off field or on field? There's a lot, right? And so, like, again, the point of this list is these characters have an insanely low barrier to entry, right? The skill floor for you to understand how to play this character is extremely low compared to a lot of other characters in the game. And I want to go ahead and say this now that we're kind of like a little deep into the video, or like midway through the video, I guess. I understand that some characters would be what we consider the hardest characters in the game to play. Those characters being someone like Banwei, right? Or Haramasa. We kind of all universally agree that these characters are pretty difficult to play. And for my own perspective, and I'm sure other players as well, we might say something like, well, no character is hard to play in the game because of, you know, Banwei or Haramasa. Like, those are the only difficult characters in the game to play. But again, coming from the casual perspective, I can't agree with that anymore, because I've learned that, for instance, something like Rina, right? Rina is a very simple character to understand. You press EX skill or press skill, press basic attack, put puppets on the field, call it a day. She's not difficult for me to tell you how to play her or to understand her, but Then you get into, well, how does she actually work? How does she benefit the team? And how do I upkeep that, right? Because she has an extremely small timer of like 5 seconds or something like that for her puppets. Now I need to explain to you puppeting. Now I need to explain to you meter management. Thankfully, we have the meter icon now for Rena's puppets, but you get what I'm saying. It's not, I've left the territory of casual. I need to explain 20 different things for you to understand how to use Rena as a support character in order to use your DPS character, which I probably still would have to explain, right? Moving away from Yadhari though, we have Suna here. Suna, okay, love this little character, bro. She's super cute, super awesome. The Angels of Delusion, which is Angels of O-Block, okay? We're someone in my Discord called it that, and I can't let it go, okay? The Angels of O-Block are by far one of my favorite factions in the game because they're just, it's a whole like K-pop pop idol thingy. It's just adorable. Their story is awesome. If you guys haven't played the story, haven't been looking at the story, a lot of players are like, yo, 2.6's story is like the best story of 2.0 on top of Ye Shun Wong, Yi Xuan, whatever. I'm replaying through the story. You might be able to catch me later on stream doing that, but I'm having a blast so far, okay? Suna, press EX skill. That's it. And you don't even have to, I originally had her as a 2 button, which she is, but you don't have to do that at all, okay? You can literally just hold EX skill and she'll do the entire thing. Now, if I'm explaining to you, you know, meter management and keeping your buff up time, things like that, then yeah, of course, you're gonna wanna be able to use the 2, right? You press it one time, you come back, you press it again. But in order for me to explain how to play Suna, it's quite literally press a button, do a thing, and you're done. Now, let me go ahead and say this because I know I'm going to get some comments about it, because when we were doing this on stream and I was talking about it, I was trying to figure out who I wanted to put on my list with my stream. A lot of people, yo, put Zhao. Why is Zhao not on the list? Zhao is in the middle. If I'm not mistaken, I have a list already. Zhao is like the first one that's on my like in the middle, can go up into the casual territory, can fall out of the casual territory. Why? Because Zhao is a character where for the most part, you don't have to play this character. But in order for you to understand what this character is doing, I need to explain more than I do for Suna. For a character like Suna, I tell you press EX, get off the field, you're done. For a character like Zhao, I tell you press EX, get off the field, you're done. But that's not true. In order for me to get you to understand what Zhao is doing, especially if you're running her in a team that does not include Ye Shun Guang, because she does work with a lot of other characters, right? One of her things, the fact that she works with Attack Anomaly or other support characters. So you're going to find ways to use Zhao in a bunch of different teams that are not Ye Shun Wang. So when I'm explaining that to you, you need to understand, how do I reactivate Etherville? Why is this, 50-second timer here? How do I activate Etherville in the first place? How does she gain meter to get the Frostbite's points in the first place? There's a lot more that goes into a kit like Zhao's in order for you to understand that. So again, she's simple for me to understand, or simple for me to explain. But once we get into that understanding territory where it's like, okay, would a casual player really go through the, I guess, the thought process to do all of this on top of everything else? And so I had to really sit with Zhao. And I really sat there and like played with her for a little bit. I used her with a couple other teams, and I'm like, you know what? If you're not playing Ye Shun Wang and like with a Zhao team, you do have to do more work. You have to input more buttons, and you actually have to bring Zhao out on the field in order to get something done. And so like as an advanced player, I guess, or as an intermediate player, you'll see a lot of people coming out and using EX skills or parries in the middle of something else, right? Be doing a DPS attack, swinging a Zhao, do an EX skill, quick swap off into their stun, get a stun off, right? And then now the Etherville activate. You see a lot, but again, casual player, they're not really doing that. Now, we are done with half the list, okay? I got another half after this, which is essentially, you can consider that the top 5, okay? These next characters that I'm gonna talk about are the top 5 characters that are gonna be the most casual friendly in the game, but I need to go eat. So you won't see me eating, but I'm gonna pause, all right, for myself for the recording. I'm gonna go eat and I'll be right back. And I'm letting you know that in the video so that you guys know this is past me and future me, but it's still the same me. Anyway, BRB.
A few moments later.
All right, cool. So we're back, which, I mean, some Chick-fil-A, okay, some grilled nuggets. Actually, I lied. They weren't grilled nuggets. They were regular nuggets, the fried nuggets with the macaroni, but I wanted grilled nuggets and they got it wrong. Anyhow, going back to where we were, okay? Because you guys, I know y'all don't want to be here. I don't want to be here. Some of y'all want to be here though. So, you might be weird. Anyway, the next characters that we have on my list, which if I'm not mistaken, we're going over the top 5, okay? The top 5 for the most casual, kind of speed run or blitz it maybe. Trigger. That's it. Trigger plays herself, okay? Trigger's the type of character where if you are unfamiliar with the current meta or the current state of the meta In Zenless Zone Zero, Trigger is the second best stunner in the entire game. She plays with every single team. Every single archetype, doesn't matter what it is, if it's anomaly, if it's crit based, if it's stun based, if it's double attacker, if you are playing with double anomaly, single anomaly, if you're playing with rupture, does not matter. She plays on every single archetype with or without her W engine, which is huge because I know a lot of people still believe that she is glued to her W engine, but I do believe that is more so a negligence or an ignorance in the knowledge that you would have when it comes to a character like Trigger. Beyond that point, you literally just have to press one button. That's it. Like, if you want to get more technical with Trigger, then by all means, there's her ultimate, when to use it, when not to use it. There's the, what do you call that thing? The chain attack, right? The delayed chain attack stuff with her, whatever, right? You have the EX skill where you can pop EX skill, you get more, you get the gold bar instead of the regular blue bar. You really don't need any of that. Like, if you just wanted to play Trigger, she's the type of character, in fact, she's one of, if not the best stunner in the game, that plays herself. You literally hold basic attack, fill up the bar, it's blue, it turns shiny or whatever, it doesn't even need to be shiny. And then she sits off field and shoot, and stuns the enemy. That's it. That's all you have to do. You know, parry when you need to because she can, and then you get off the character. You're done. In order for me to explain to somebody how to play Trigger 101, hold button, get off field, let her do the rest of what she wants to do, and that's it. That is what you're looking for when it comes to a casual character. Now, will I say flashy? I mean, I guess, right? She's got all the electricity going around her, but outside of that, maybe. But what makes Trigger so great is the fact that she is always going to be meta relevant until stunners are no longer relevant, right? And then with her kit being like a pseudo DPS in a way, because she does care about crit, it just works out in your favor tremendously. The next character that we're going to talk about after Trigger, though, this is not a joke. Caesar. My girl, I miss her so much, bro, but she needs a rework. I need her to get a rework, and I need them to make her a DPS. I'm not gonna lie, make her keep her parry, but reward her with damage. That's what I need, bro. Let her keep the team shield, whatever they want to do. Make her a damaging character, and it'll probably fix a lot of her issues. Anyhow, Caesar is the next most casual character in my top 5. Why would you say that? EO, you're crazy. Caesar is not good. She's not meta relevant. That's not true. So just because we have other characters like Astra, or I guess if you want to use Vivian, you can, but I'm not really thinking about Vivian, Suna, or even Zhao. Just because we have these characters does not all of a sudden make Caesar obsolete. Caesar has the same problem that she has had since she released in the game. Caesar's entire issue is that she is no one's best in slot. However, that does not make her a bad option overall. Now, if we're talking about this again from the casual perspective, what is the one thing casual players are not doing? I mentioned it earlier. They're not learning the tech. They don't want to learn the rotations. They don't care about proper timing. They just want to mash, look at flashy stuff, have a good time, and enjoy whatever they're playing in the game. Caesar is the perfect character to allow them to do that. She's going to give them that shield, so they don't have to worry about if they get hit or not getting hit. She's very easy to reapply the shield. Press EX button. That's it. You're done. You don't even have to time the parry in order for her to get the shield. You can whiff the EX, and she will still put the shield onto the entire team. And she gives you the 1,000, what is it, 1,000 attack? She gives you 1,000 attack when she does that as well. No damage. Sucks, I know. I guess she gets some days, maybe, if you want to learn how to play her to get the days, sure. But it is what it is, right? Caesar is literally the one button shielding character. We've joked about that. She's been a meme for the dawn of time. That's the character. You don't have to know anything else, and it works. Now, I'll also repeat this, but because I know I'm going to get a comment that says this list is not me promoting for anyone to go out and pull these characters based on the meta. This is purely for you as a casual player to share or recommend or do for yourself if you happen to be the player that's watching this video, so that you can get what you want out of what you're trying to do in the game. That's it. After that, we have Piper, which, wow, you know what's funny? I'm gonna be on stream later on today too, but what's funny is I didn't expect so many players or so many people in my chat to be like, yo, Piper's not like simple, like she's not casual. And I really sat there and I was dumbfounded because I had to give them, guys, let me give the full screen real quick, okay? I had to sit there and look at them like this because I'm like, the one character, right? One of the few characters in the game that literally just holds one button. She just holds one button and does spin to win. The spin to win in the entire game is not simple to understand. Come on. I was dumbfounded. So as I'm explaining to you guys Piper, right? You literally hold the button and she spins, racks up anomaly damage, and she pops assault and pops assault and pops assault. And when you run out of meter, your basic attack until you get more energy, right? That's really all it is. Piper is not a complicated character to understand. I don't know where that concept came from. However, going back to what I said earlier about Minato, for instance, I do understand that Piper does have some technicality to her to improve her in-game stats overall, right? As I mentioned before, what I'm saying in this video isn't to take away from these characters and that they can't have technical inputs or tech or combos or more advanced gameplay. That's not what this is. It's just saying that at a base level, if a player wanted to jump into the game, and what characters should they look for that give them the easiest time getting results while not having to worry about a lot of stuff, these are the characters. You don't have to do the tech with Piper in order to successfully get whatever it is that you're looking for. I literally did it on stream the same day that I was talking about this. There's a bunch of clips. I might have it in the video if I can go find them. It's still up on the stream on YouTube and on Twitch. And so I literally went I went into Shiyu defense with this Piper. Guys, this Piper is level 20. Level 20. Her skills are level 1. She does not have any of her materials. And we came out of there with a B rank. Mind you, I don't think I used Yuzuha. I could be wrong on that one, but I didn't give her like a fully decked out team. She didn't get a signature W engine, right? I think we gave her Alice's. Yeah. We swapped all my Alice gear just so that she had some appropriate stats, right? But again, still level 20. And she came out with a B rank. I think the exact score with me messing up was like 12 or 14K, something like that. I didn't do any tech. All I did was spin to win. When I ran out of meter, I mashed basic attack and I popped a couple ultimates. That was it. I didn't give her a powerhouse like she might have Bernice actually. I didn't give her a powerhouse like Vivian or Yanagi, right, with their signature W engines. I just went in there. Again, mind you, level 20. If this character was leveled up and appropriately geared, she would have been able to clear S rank, no problem. And that's kind of what I'm getting at, right? Is that like, I don't need to know all of the crazy stuff in order to get the job done. I just need the character. And that's, again, what casual players want. They just want the character. So moving on from Piper, the next character, which I mean, if you guys haven't caught on to the theme by now, you should be able to guess. But if you haven't been able to guess, actually, you know, I'm not even going to give you time. I was going to like, oh, you guys should have some time. Go ahead and pick. Who do you think is going to be? I don't care. It's Hugo. I don't care how you feel about this character. I don't think if you think this character sucks. I don't think if you think, oh man, Hugo's so hard to play in the meta. No, he's not. He's not. He presses one button. That's it. Piper holds one button, he presses one button. There's no other DPS in the game that is more simple to understand besides Hugo and Piper. They only press one button, that's it, right? And so it's like, oh, how do you play Hugo? When the enemy is stunned, when you see rainbow or gray meter, press one button, he does damage. That's it. I don't have to tell you how to play him on field because he's not an on-fielder. I don't have to tell you how to manually do your chain attacks and do the tech between whatever so that he gets 2 chain attacks to build up his decibels. I don't have to do that. If you just wanted to play Hugo because you think he's cool and looks like Dio from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, press one button, do damage. Press other button, ultimate, do more damage. That's it. That's all it is. And as far as like being able to answer, is he meta relevant, right? Would he fall off in the meta? Hugo's issue is the same issue, just like we said earlier with Caesar. His issue has always been the same. In the event they decide that this enemy will not be affected as much or at all by the stun window or stun, Hugo will struggle. And so that just turns into a whole different concept. I have a couple of videos on my channel if you want to go look at those, but that turns it into an entire different concept of like matchups, right? And so you just wouldn't bring Hugo into a matchup that he's not going to have even a neutral chance in, right? Like an even chance to fight against. You're not going to do that. If the enemy can't be stunned, you're not going to bring Hugo. And so of course there are some of the players, right, will say like, oh, well, Thrall. I think people will bring up Thrall a lot when it comes to Hugo. And they'll say, well, Thrall is like Hugo's worst matchup, which I don't think it's his worst matchup, but I'd have to go back and look at things. But getting at Thrall, right, you'll say like, oh, it's really hard for Hugo to fight Thrall. That is fair to say. It is difficult for him to fight Thrall, but not because he himself is having that issue. It's just because of the way Thrall is designed. Thrall as a boss fight is 2 bosses, one that has no stun and one that is normal that has a stun. The stun's a little faster, but that doesn't matter to Hugo because he one taps it anyway. All he needs is the stun window. And so this changes the way that you have to fight Thrall, right? When you're fighting Thrall with a Hugo team, you need to put a lot more emphasis on the stunners that you bring to the table. But that has nothing to do with Hugo, right? Hugo is just sitting in the back waiting for his turn. La-di-da-di-da, I can't wait for the enemy to get stunned. Oh, you're stunned? Swing giant scythe. Okay, bye guys. And then repeat the process, right? Rinse, wash, and repeat. Not a difficult thing to learn at all. The last character is in the entirety of this, right? The #1 most casual character in the entire game of Zenless on Zero. We really harmonize. It's Astra. How could it not be Astra? Okay, I understand. Oh, well, Suna. Oh, well, Lucia. Oh, well, Yuzuha. None of those characters matter right now. Why? Because Astra has to press nothing. You don't even play this character. This character is so casual, you don't even play her. She's basically not a part of the team. Press one button, leave the entire game forever. Infinite buff. Infinite buff, guys. You just keep the buff forever. That's it. I don't want to spend too much time talking about Astra as a character because I hate the design of this character in Zenless Zone Zero. I love her as a character, story-wise, character-wise, lore-wise, whatever. I hate whatever they did with the gameplay. And I understand it's great for the player. Obviously, she's number one on my list right now for the casual player base, right? But ultimately, not for me. I use her if I have to, but not because I want to. In a casual player sense, you guys could use her because you want to, which is pretty cool. So that would be it. I would say these are my top 10, because I just realized that's the number that I have. These are my top 10 most casual characters that a player could pick up in Zenless Zone Zero. And with that, I'm going to get out of here. Thank you guys for watching today's video. Leave a like, comment down below. Let me know if you have a different 10 list. I mean, it doesn't really have to be 10. You could do a top 5, 3, 10, whatever. Let me know the characters that you think are the most casual friendly, and let me know why. Why I'm saying this is because lately we've noticed, if you guys have been paying attention to my community in particular, we've been gaining a lot of new players, right? And so I want to do a little bit of a solid, and I want you guys that are actively commenting on my videos, the ones that are kind of like what we consider regular viewers, I want you guys to be able to leave some good advice for the new players as well in terms of like this casual stuff. And even if it's not casual, my goal is to, I don't want to say like take a casual player and then make them not casual, because that sounds kind of weird. What I want to do is I want to make that door open for you. I want to make sure that if you decided to open the door from casual to average or not casual, whatever you want to call it, that road, the yellow brick road, it's already paved for you through the use of my channel, other people's channels, peers, other content creators, my friends, players, my community, whatever the case may be, right? I just want to make that pathway really easy for you, because as I say all the time, and I think this is becoming a quote for the channel now, players' biggest issue is never a skill issue in the game. It's knowledge. It's a knowledge check. All right, that's it. I'm gonna get out of here. I gotta go stream. Thank you for watching the video. I already said that part. I can't say my user outro because it's inappropriate for YouTube. Like the video, comment, subscribe. I already said that part too. Smell you later.